What are we going to do? Where are we going to see someone to help us? We don't have anybody but Allah. Almighty Allah, please look at us and have pity on your children. We have nobody. We are only farming to get food to eat. Nobody disturbs us, not even our children. Allah, have pity on your children.
Well, heartbreaking, that is no doubt. Plateau State is now a shadow of its old, peaceful, tranquil self. Residents now live in fear, as you can see from the lady farmer. The government looks out of ideas and security agents look overwhelmed with the latest bloodshed and arson taking more than enough people. And seeing the 250 building razed, there is the need for a way forward. Now, the slogan of Plateau State reads, "Home of Peace and Tourism," but if recent events are anything to go by, these have become mere words. It represented more than a slogan until things took a bitter turn. What about Plateau and its unstable security situation? What's the way forward? Welcome to VSA. I'm Sulaiman. The security problems of Plateau State are steeped in history. A very peaceful state, no doubt, until 2001. Plateau State represented a place where people ran to for safety. Tranquil, scenic, beautiful, and very peaceful, Plateau State was home for many Nigerians and non-Nigerians who ran away from clashes in Nasarawa, Bauchi, Taraba, and even Kaduna states. Now, the regular influx of people into Plateau is one of the reasons held for the security challenges of the state. Since 2001, it has been one problem or the other, but in the last 5 years, these challenges have been more frequent. Clashes between herdsmen and farmers in 2018 led to widespread bloodshed, which turned the attention of the world to Nigeria. In the latest of these violent attacks, at least 17 people were killed and 250 houses razed in Irigwe communities in BASSALG local government area of the state. Between the 31st of July and 1st of August, the villages of Zangwa, Nchetashu, Rikwe, Rishe, A and B, yes, and Ridogo, and some others were under, captive. These villages were attacked by suspected Fulani militias. Just, recently, at least 2 people were reported dead in protest at Gadabiu, also in Jos. Joining me today is Stephanus Jang, Senator representing Plateau North, and of course, Musa Aga Avia joins me by phone. He's member representing Rukuba Irigwe State Constituency at the Plateau State House of Assembly, as well as Davidson Malison, the National Publicity Secretary for Irigwe Development Association. Gentlemen, many thanks for your time and thank you for joining us. Let me start with Davidson. What's the current situation in your community at the moment?
Good evening to you and to the viewers. Let me start on this note. In your report, when you were giving an overview of what has actually been happening in Irigweland, I noticed you captured the death toll in Irigweland to be 17. Yeah, to be 17. I think that is the statement you captured from the praise statement as released by CP Edward Ebuka, Commissioner of Police, Plateau State. Am I right?
So go ahead. If you have anything contrary, I think that will. That's the more reason you hear. I
want to tell you that the death toll of the killings in Irigweland as from Saturday last week to today is more than 70 dates we have recovered.
70, 70.
Over 70 people have been killed as we speak. There are records and there are also images and pictures about all of this. Now, that is the side I actually wanted to correct. Now, Rigwe Nation has actually been under attack by Fulani herdsmen for long. Precisely, in a summary form, this year, February, there have been quite a number of attacks by these Fulani herdsmen. They have attacked quite a number of villages in Rigwe land of BASSALG local government area of Plateau State. And these attacks have led to quite a number of deaths, destructions of farmlands, looting of household items, lootings of domestic animals. But this whole attack took a new dimension. What I mean by a new dimension is the escalation level. It escalated beginning from last week, Saturday to be precise, where these marauders, these militias, stormed so many villages under what we call Pachudu community, sacked more than 6 villages in that community. And these villages, the number of casualties, as at the time I made a press release, 7 people were killed in that particular attack. Over 250 houses were set ablaze. Over 40 hectares of farmlands were destroyed. Domestic animals, sheep, chickens, and the likes were also looted. Also, so many things happened on that attack. That is on that Saturday night as we speak. Now, on Sunday, it was a follow-up of another attack. The death toll rise from the Saturday attack to 14. More dead bodies were recovered. And then on Monday, another massive and intensive, in fact, uncontrollable attack by these same marauders stormed more than 8 communities in Kol, Axis. Kol is a district under Rigwe Chiefdom. Rigwe Chiefdom have 2 districts, Kol and Miango. The other ones on Saturday happened in Miango district, and the one on Monday happened in Kol district. And in that attack alone, over 50 people were killed in that attack on Monday. It was a
let me quickly comment here, Davidson. Sorry to butt in here quickly here. Has there been any kind of conversation between your community and the Plateau State government?
There have been, Plateau State government have what we call Plateau State Peace Building Agency that is saddled with the responsibility of handling issues of this nature. We have attended meetings under this agency alongside these Fulani militias. And let me tell you, to be precise, in one of the meetings that we had at the local government secretariat last month, immediately after the meeting, one of the district heads of Rigweland, Miango to be precise, district head of Miango, alongside one chieftaincy title man, Ubankering Irigwe, and the scribe of the district head, the 3 of them were attacked. On that day, when we finished meeting with Fulani leaders, the Ardos, the chairman Mieti Allah, and other Fulani leaders were in attendance of that meeting. But after that meeting, they ordered their boys to attack our traditional rulers.
In other words, Davidson, quickly here, Davidson, in other words, I think you have to, let me come in here. In other words, it would seem as if these people are well known, to those in the community. Let me bring in Senator Jang here. I'll come back to you, Davidson. Senator Jang, good to see you again. Thank you for your time. These problems have persisted for so long, and it would seem as if the National Assembly doesn't have the solutions or legislations to control the situation. What's the response of the legislative arm to such a big challenge affecting your people?
Thank you very much. Let me first say that as you're talking to me, I feel devastated, I feel frustrated, I feel deserted, I feel abandoned, and I'm helpless, abandoned by the Nigerian state and government, which has the primary responsibility to secure citizens of this nation, including the people of Plateau North, whom I'm graciously representing in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I want, as we are talking, just as you've heard, the situation in my constituency is not limited to what the last speaker has just been speaking. It is 3 local governments that are engulfed with these horrendous attacks, displacement of communities, and forceful occupation of the ancestral homes. This is a situation that, as the representative of the people, I have repeatedly, along with my colleagues in the National Assembly, like you are now alluding that what has the National Assembly been doing? The issues that have preoccupied the National Assembly on a day-to-day basis, one of the most repeated issues by way of motions and debates has been the challenge of insecurity in this country, which has become the major preoccupation of the National Assembly. So we in the National Assembly, we have churned out motions calling attention of government to the situation in our respective constituencies, with particular reference to my constituency. I have come again and again to bring to the attention of the government which has the responsibility. But as I'm talking at this moment, the situation has not abated. Rather, it is being compounded by the increasing attacks on communities. And the National Assembly, like you just before we went on this vacation, we again passed the supplementary budget to address the issue of equipping of the security agencies. So if it has to do with the legislation and the necessary legislative interventions of the National Assembly, I think that has been done. The onus lies with the executive arm of government, particularly Mr. President, who has the constitutional responsibility to secure every citizen of this country. But like it is happening in my constituency, that has not happened from Irigwe Chiefdom to Biladi local government to Riom local government, particularly now Irigwe Chiefdom in BASSALG local government and Biladi local government in Plateau North, my constituency, have neither had rest by day nor by night. So this is the situation in the constituency, and it's traumatizing.
You know, but quickly here, still staying with you, Senator Jang, your colleagues at the House of Representatives just recently submitted a report on national security to the president. Have you gone through it, and do you think it's a document that can help reshape and keep especially Plateau State and other parts of the country secure?
Let me say that with particular reference to my constituency and across the North Central, I feel that what we need to do as National Assembly and government is to rightly classify and profile these terror attacks, because until they are rightly defined, profiled, and classified, where they are being tagged as herdsmen, farmer clashes, they are not clashes. These are invasions, these are attacks, these are terror attacks on communities. And until we rightly classify and profile these attacks as terror attacks, the approach to handling it will not get to the solution. And that's why you see the security agencies coming in and say they are coming in as if it is two people fighting, two communities fighting. It is not two communities fighting. It is an invasion. It is an attack on host communities in my constituency. And these host communities over time, spanning to 2 decades now, have of course, accommodated other Nigerians. By the Constitution, citizens have the right to reside wherever they want to the extent that they will they will be part of the progress of the communities they so choose to reside in. Not that they come in and become a problem to the communities, as is happening in my constituency, Plateau North. So the situation is that the security have to rightly classify these attacks. They are not clashes. These are attacks. This is an invasion, to displace host communities and take over their ancestral homes for forceful occupation of their lands. That is what is happening.
Let me quickly bring in Musa here. Senator Jang, for a moment, I'll come back to you. Let me bring in Musa. Musa, good to know that you're there. Thank you for your patience. You are a state legislator and one who's closest to the grassroots. So what's the conversation between the Plateau Assembly and the state government on improving security situation in Plateau State?
Let me say some appreciate the platform for affording me this opportunity to share with the whole world what is happening in Plateau State, and to be specific, in BASSALG government, and directly like the first speaker. Early step to December serious attack. BASSALG December 6, occasioned by the ceaseless attacks of the Militias. As a representative of the people that hold any mandate of my people, I stand to condemn this very time. As representative of the people with the responsibility of making the good governance of the state. Ever I took the oath of office to represent my people. Each time it's making contributions on the floor of the House, it's strictly going to be impact of the issue of security. My people, my constituency have been overwhelmed in response to this threat. And as a House, we have met a lot of resolutions. I have met a lot of presentations in the first House concerning this issue in the constituency. But regrettably, the duty of any representative is the people. And in a situation whereby my people are being attacked necessarily, I think it doesn't really help it.
Musa, let me come in here, Musa, quickly. Sorry again to butt in here because I'm trying to bring in the perspective of Senator Jang and also how Davidson painted the picture, quite different from what is out there in the public domain. Over 70 people have been killed, and Senator Jang has just told the world that this is not an attack, but an invasion. So to solve these challenges, there has to be a good understanding of the roots of the problems in your community. Have you been able, as a member, a minute here, as a member of the State Assembly, have you and your members been able to get to the bottom of it? And is this conversation that you're having with your state governor?
Let me come in this way. That as a responsible State Assembly, we are doing our possible best to see that these issues are addressed. But of course, we are constrained. We have boundaries when it comes to our responsibility. Ours is to make noise. Ours is to make noise. It's another thing for the executive to implement that will be resolved on the floor of the House. So, what is happening? What those two previous speakers have told you is nothing but the truth. I am the representative of this very constituency that is seriously under siege. And that anything that I'm telling you now is nothing but the truth. How this, unlike in the past, The attack used to take one dimension. The marauders will come and attack people in the night. But as I'm talking today, it has taken 3 dimensions. They will come, attack your house, burn the house, kill you, and then later respected the destruction of farmlands. So it is a road declared on our people. In this situation, it cannot even imagine the trauma that is being caused in the lives of our people. So we have been talking and we continue to talk. Thank God for this way. I'm sure the world is listening to us. That the situation is looking it's somewhat out of hand. We have spoken severally to the state government. We have spoken severally to the federal government. Nothing is being done to that effect. As I'm talking to you, communities, locals are fleeing. They have abandoned, they have deserted their original homes, trying to seek for where they can have the objective. It is quite unfortunate. It is quite worrisome.
Let me bring in Davison here before we go on the break and come back to Senator Jang. Davison, quickly here. You know, that's the presence of Operation Safe Haven in Plateau State, and Nigerians and Africans are amazed that these killings of this nature still happen. Over 70, according to you, have been killed. Has the military been able to provide some sort of safe haven for your people?
My brother, Plateau State is under Operation Safe Havens, just like you say, which its sole responsibility is to ensure and maintain law and order in the state, not to allow anything to happen. And let me tell you categorically clear here that my community or my chiefdom, Rigwe chiefdom, is under what we call Sector 3 Command of the Operation Safe Haven, which is well managed by a colonel. This colonel, or this under this command, we have had several meetings under this command in order for these issues to be well sorted out. But this issue has continued. And let me make one revelation. The Iriguelan is bounded to 3rd Armored Division. Yesterday night, a community was entirely set ablaze. That community is just a stone throw to the 3rd Armored Division, but that community was set ablaze. On the issue of the military coming to intervene in this whole thing, on that Saturday, an operation happened for over 4 hours. Over 4 hours operation without the intervention of the men of the Operation Safe Haven. What does that supposed to tell us? And let me say here, there are some of our people who were chased away in the course of that attack, went into hiding in the bush, running for their lives. They said they saw some people on military killers coming to drop these people, perpetrating this act. I am telling you, even some of the materials they used in setting those houses ablaze were conveyed through these vehicles.
Hold on, because these are very serious allegations. You say your people saw some of these attackers come in vehicles, that look very much like same used by the military. Has there been any form of communication between the Rigwe community, your state government, and the military? Because these are very weighty allegations.
I think this is captured. The last press release we made is captured. There is a paragraph that captured this statement that I just said.
And if you had a paragraph this that was captured in your release, what was the response from the authorities, in the military?
No response. Earlier, before our press release, there was a release by the men by the Operation Safe Havens on an issue that our people had attacked these people, and then they thwarted an attempt for a clash that would have been something they target, which is
totally untrue.
So because we have two authorities here, the military command, if you say your communication about these weighty allegations wasn't addressed, what about your state government?
State government have been made known in all the issues happening in the land. There are so many press releases we have made and submitted to the state government on our happiness. And particularly, I have made some of these submissions even to some of the offices attached to the governor. There was one that we wrote, copied to the office of the governor direct. Yet we have not seen any positive response from all of this.
Well, anyway, I think we'll go on a break, and in the course of this program, we'll also try, because this isn't going to be one-off, we'll also try as much as possible to reach the military command to respond to that very weighty allegation coming from the Rigwe Publicity Secretary Davidson Malison. But we'll take a moment. When we come back, we'll be looking at pretty much more solutions to the wanton destruction of lives and property in Rigwe community and other parts of Plateau State in Jos. Well, it's our home stretch here on VSA on News Central Television, and we're looking at the destruction of, properties, and of course the killings in part of Nigeria, specifically Plateau State. And we've been having conversations with community people as well as the senator representing the senatorial district. In decades of fighting, killings, and clashes, prosecution of perpetrators have become a tall order. Now, the absence of a sound rewarding justice system has become a problem in the state as killers go scot-free. Locals have fled their homes, and those staying live in great fear. Trouble is raining and pouring in Plateau, and it's dangerous and pretty sad. And of course, let me quickly come back to Senator Jang. Good to know you're still there. You grew up in your beautiful state, once beautiful, peaceful state, as many who are even non-indigenous will always say about Plateau State. And you're quite experienced about events even before now. Give us some historical perspectives to this particular issue, Senator Jang.
Thank you very much. Let me once again appreciate this opportunity to give an insight into the situation in my constituency and Plateau State. Over time, spanning, like I said, getting to over 2 decades, Plateau State is known to be very hospitable, and that's an established fact. People have come from far and wide in such a way that the demographics of Plateau North and Plateau State shows the diversity of Nigeria well captured. And over time, people that have been accommodated, particularly in the rural communities, the herdsmen accommodated and by the host communities. Time came that the people that were now accommodated started the process of trying to take over the the land from the locals, from their host communities. And that is why I've said that this issue is not a clash, but it's an invasion, and it's not limited to Plateau State. It's the mishandling of the situation in Plateau State that has given birth to what we are witnessing across the nation. If you come to communities in Benue State, if you go to the northwest, to Zamfara, to Niger State, if you go to, the Niger is in the north central, if you go to other states in the northwest, Southern Kaduna particularly, the same host communities that have accommodated other Nigerians have come under severe attacks. And why is it so? It is the quest to take over the land. And that, in fact, the entire Nigeria is under invasion because forces from outside Nigeria with local accomplices wanting to take over the Nigerian territory. The Southwest had its own portion of recent, Southeast. There's no part of the country that has not witnessed these attempts of invaders coming to try to take over the land of their host communities. And this is what I'm saying. Until where there is a wrong prognosis, you will end up with wrong prescription. And that's why I'm saying these things are not clashes. This is a situation of host communities that have accommodated herdsmen are now becoming victims of attack and annihilation with risking their lives and livelihood. Like you see in these pictures. I'm
happy, Senator Jang, I'm excited that you use a particular word, prognosis, and you say a situation where a community or any nation comes with the wrong prognosis, you're likely to get a wrong, solution. So what's the right prognosis, of what we're dealing with at the moment?
Let me say this, that the Nigerian state and government has a responsibility under the Constitution to secure law-abiding citizens. We are dealing with criminality. We are dealing with terror. So if you are dealing with crime and criminality, you need to enforce law and order. And that's why the primary responsibility of the National Assembly is to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the country. So there must be a dispassionate and sincere enforcement of law and order, where criminals are allowed to operate without let or hindrance, where some persons are allowed to become a law unto themselves, to go anywhere and kill at will. And you have communities that are helpless, defenseless, that ought to be given protection by the state. The solution is for the state to rise to its responsibility and secure law-abiding citizens and deal with crime and criminality and terror decisively. Until that is done, we will continue to see this helplessness. If a terrorist will kill at will and he is allowed to go, what do you expect the person that is the victim to do? There is a lot of talking, there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of intervention here and there. But the issue is that there must be effective enforcement of law and order against crime and criminality, against terror, against banditry, against anything that is evil. And evil is evil no matter who does it.
And now you're saying this quickly, Senator Jang, the moment, again, let me bring the man who is at the grassroots there, and that's Musa. Musa, you've listened to Davidson and Senator Jang. You are closest to the people when people like Senator Jang are quite busy at the center in Abuja. You have always been there. How can the militias in Rigwe and the entire North Central be handled? What's your most appropriate solution to the situation? And has the Assembly been following this, listening to Senator Jang and Davidson? This seemed to be a protracted problem for the state.
Really appreciate this medium providing the opportunity for learning critically this ongoing discourse. The irrigation, Plateau State, as we are all aware, known for peace and tourism. In other words, we are more abiding. And the Plateau appears to be a mini Nigeria. Virtually all Nigerians are residents of the Plateau. And as it is provided in the Constitution, that gives room for people to settle in whatever measures they wish to settle. So, in as much as we allow that to happen, that doesn't mean that the Plateau people, the Plateau man, the Plateau woman, the people for granted. As law abiding as we are, we encourage, we urge that whoever that believes in settling near the land, the BASSALG local government is free as stipulated in the Constitution. So, what we are doing, or what we are advising is that if you are law abiding, you can always come and settle whatever part of Nigeria is concerned, especially the Plateau. Let me tell you that the ongoing issues that we are presently facing, it may interest you to know that they will because of the practical nature that we have signed series of peace accords between the Europeans and the Fulani for them to come and settle. Because before now, they used to stay in our place, and we don't know. Whatever thing that might have happened, it's only God that knows the possible then. So we, in an effort to have peace, to reign in our communities, we have severally provided those avenues for them to come. Let them come to settle so that we can continue, to relate the way we used to do them. But again, it is a planned agenda. It is as if they have something in mind. Their refusal to come has shown us that they don't want to embrace the peace that we've been yearning. So as legislators, as leaders in our own right, we will continue to advocate for the peace and peaceful coexistence. If they are willing to come, I do think they don't have to make progress. And like you rightly asked, the State Assembly is doing her best to ensure that peace reigns. That is why we have passed a number of motions, we have passed a number of bills, including the bills that have direct bearing the yearnings and aspirations of the people. So we are doing nothing but to ensure that peace reigns in our various communities.
Let me bring in Davidson quickly here. Davidson, you've heard Musa, and I was also going to ask if that communication which you sent to the military and the state government was also sent to the assembly, Davidson.
Yeah, I didn't actually get what you say.
The communication you got, which alleged that some people were using some military fatigue, to perpetrate these attacks on your people. Did you also send that communication or petition to the State Assembly?
No, we didn't. Like I said, this whole thing, got escalated the very day that Saturday attack happened. That was when we made that release. Even the statement I said, some people who were chased away from their houses and then said they saw a vehicle conveying these attackers and dropping them, perpetrating this act. That was not captured in that press release. I said there is a portion which we captured that for an hour, for an attack to have, lasted for 4 hours without men of Operation Safe Haven's intervention means that was done in the form of collusion and connivance.
No. I think we're getting some. We need to be clear here. Initially, you had said your statement contained that allegation. And I asked, and I said that was a weighty allegation. But now you say it's not contained in your statement, and what you tried to say was something quite differently. Could you please go through this again?
Not quite different. Listen, not quite different. I said when you asked me, and I was trying to make reference to that particular portion that we captured in our press release.
Yes.
I don't know whether you get it.
So go ahead. You said a portion of your press release contained what you said to me about the military vehicle dropping off some attackers.
No, that was not what I said. I said the collusion and the connivance, because for an attack to have lasted for over 4 hours from military, in fact, there is a checkpoint at one of the places that was set ablaze.
So,
yes,
in other words, you're taking your word back that there wasn't any military vehicle involved in this attack.
No, you didn't understand the statement.
No, I can also let you make it clear because, but again, you said military vehicle, right? And you also said dropping off attackers. So make it more clear so that we can actually go through, get away from this, because we were almost also going to, get to the Nigerian military with what you had alleged, so that they can actually, react to it. But now you say, I didn't get it quite clear. So make it more clear so that our viewers don't go away with the wrong impression of what you never meant.
All right. What I said is that attack on Saturday lasted for over 4 hours without the intervention of the military, the men of Operation Safe Haven. And that is to clearly state that it was an attack that was done in connivance and collusion. And I further said, I didn't say this was captured in that press release, and I said some of our people who were chased out of their houses, ran for hideout in the bush, said they saw, said they saw people on military healers being dropped, perpetrating this act. Did you get that clear now?
So, and I also remember I asked if you were able to send a communication to the military, stating what some community people said to you. And you said, well, you did, and there was no response.
No, what I said is that we wrote a press release. We wrote a press release on that, and we didn't, no response. That's what I said.
Okay, now that is clear, don't you think, as a secretary, publicity, chief of Rigwe community, and as publicity expert, you should have a communication by now with the military, who are, around that vicinity, keeping watch. You should be able to have this meeting and also say to them, wait a minute, you're just a stone throw, just to use your word, from where this occurred, and people attacked us, invaded us for over 4 hours. Where were you?
Yeah, like I said, this whole thing started from Saturday, and till yesterday, there has not been time. From Saturday till yesterday, the communities under Irigwe have been under attack. Communities. And even this night, I don't even know what is even happening as I talk to you, because we also received information that there were going to be some attacks in some communities. Even my house, as I speak to you now, was also affected.
Davidson, this is really worrisome.
My own very house was burned down, was set ablaze.
I can understand, your pain, and this is really worrisome. Yes, quite frankly, speaking frankly, worrisome if you don't even know the next, line of action of anyone trying to help keep watch over you and your people. Quickly here, before we close with Senator Jang, do you have the police around your community? Are there police stations, police posts?
there are police around. And let me say here that the attack that happened on Monday, that over 500 houses were burnt down, with the exception of the over 200 houses I talked to you about. Let me just give you with a brief summary of the whole thing.
Very quickly, so that I can go to Senator Jang and close.
But these attackers came on that Monday evening precisely to around 7 p.m. The police were overwhelmed. They all ran away in their vehicles, numbering more than 10. I manageably escaped alongside some of them. So they were overwhelmed. So the entire thing here is from Saturday to yesterday, over 70 people have been killed. Over 2,500 houses have been burnt down. Over 1,000 hectares of farmlands have been destroyed. And over 25,000 people have been displaced as we speak.
Let me bring in Senator Jang here. Senator Jang, the entire North Central has been mad with clashes between herders and farmers. And listening to David saying that's a gory and very sad picture he's just painted now. You have a whole lot of displaced persons in your area. What are you doing, with the state government to see that these displaced persons are taken in and cared for, while you also go about looking for a lasting solution to what is happening in Jos?
Thank you very much. Let me say that as a result of the attacks and displacement of host communities in Biladi, Riom, and now with Irigwe Chiefdom in Bassa, we have over 80 host community villages that have been displaced and are under forceful occupation in these 3 local governments. The level of displacement and the state of destitution which the displaced survivors, let me say the survivors are subjected to, is the issue now that we have raised. How do we address their plight? I have severally pushed through the National Assembly on this policy that the federal government came with to resettle host communities that were subjected to displacement. And in each state that ought to have such attention was to have 500 housing units as a commencement of the resettlement of displaced persons. Right from the House of Representatives in the 8th Assembly, now as a senator in the 9th Assembly, I have repeatedly made such calls. I've gone to the National Refugee Commission. I've written formally to the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. But I'm telling you that till now, my constituency, Plateau North, and indeed Plateau State, has not received attention for the resettlement of the displaced communities. I'm aware that there are states that have not been affected, and those projects have been done. As a senator representing the people, I have taken steps, along with some of the displaced communities, to come in to rebuild communities that are displaced. Just of recent, I finished roofing over 35 houses in a community that was totally displaced. And with the youth in the community, we rebelled and are now, have roofed and then making it habitable. Along the same line, the Irigwe youths have taken initiative, and I was part of the roofing of the houses in Irigwe Chiefdom, just have done in Biladi.
Certainly, Senator Jang, you really can't do this all by yourself. And that is why we'll stay on this matter. Apologies, because we really have to go. We'll stay on this matter, and we'll also find why the agency, tasked with the responsibility of, rehabilitating these displaced people haven't actually acceded to your letter. And we're hoping that in the days ahead, we'll also be able to get back to you. By the way, many thanks for trying so hard to ensure that these people are being rehabilitated. Many thanks, Senator Stephanus Jang, and of course, Musa Aga Avia and Davidson Malison. The state of peace and tourism needs its old self back for the benefit of locals and for many eyes seeking to see the wonders of nature in a place threatened by the activities of humans. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Sulaiman. Bye for now.